Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra, if Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign. Then this is a message for you. All right, Libra, tonight we have the Two of Wands, which has everything to do with dominion, and really a card that's about making kind of some big decisions, right? Well, maybe they're little ones, I don't know. But it is, if you can think like, I'm at the crossroads, which way am I gonna go? Do I go left? Do I go right? Up, down? Where, right? And I always think, when I see this card, I think of that part of Alice in Wonderland where there's a sign. I think it's the sign, right? And it's like pointed, like it changes, it's moving, it's pointed everywhere. And so it's like, which way do I go? Well, this is where we start the investigation, right? To figure out, what is my plan going to be? All right, that's the energy. Now let's see how it goes with these tea leaves. Okay, and I want to go ahead and tell you, thank you for deciding to click on this reading. If you're new to tea leaf reading, welcome. It is a fun and exciting world of divination. You know, everybody kind of does it differently. I do not necessarily follow the prescribed methods or ways or even the meanings of symbols. They are my own, but I've done thousands of readings. So when you are with something for so long and so often communing with it, you kind of do. You come up with your own system a little bit. Now, if you are returning to the channel, I want to say welcome back. Welcome home. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. Now, let's get started. Right in the center, the first thing I see is an angel. Okay, so we have the angel. Here are the wings. Okay, and we have, it looks like maybe a child, a young child. And it does look like we have probably Anubis or Anubis. This is the god, an Egyptian god that has the head of a jackal. I was going to say ibis head, but no, that's Thoth. So this is a psychopomp. This is one that comes... It's a deity or some kind of intelligence that comes and ushers you into the afterlife, the underworld, okay? But in this case, it looks like we have them holding up, and it looks like a bird. I almost imagine kind of like this offering. So the bird is a messenger. So I do feel like this really is kind of... I don't know, it gets hard. It's hard to read when there's a lot of mention of death in a reading because it's so sensitive. Now, I want to reiterate that I do not think that anybody is going to pass away, okay? I don't feel like that's what we're talking about here, but I do feel like you yourself have experienced the loss of loved ones, right? Beloved ones even. And this is something that has changed you as these things do, right? But I think that, I relate to this so deeply, really. I think that through your experience of loss, you, instead of fearing it and worrying you know, who's going to be next? Or am I, you know, I don't, you know, whatever. We have the death drive. We all have it. And that is that, you know, it's the ultimate unknown. And a lot of us spend our lives avoiding any kind of interaction with this kind of transition. But I do feel like for you, it's almost kind of like it feels familiar, right? Like the energy that comes along with loss. And now maybe I'm a little, you know, magical thinking and superstitious and everything. I am, obviously. Look at look at this table. But you can feel if the transitional phase was actually like a personality and it felt like somebody you might know or you've met them a couple times or whatever, and when they show up, you can sense that they're there, right? This feels familiar to you. It feels not, I don't even think it's not scary, but it's not something that you're like inviting in either. But I feel like you even maybe have thought about working in a field that is adjacent or directly involved with the process of transition, right? So maybe like a mortuary, maybe like somebody who works for the coroner, maybe you are somebody who works in a hospice or the medical field in general, right? Maybe you work with older individuals. You know, a lot of different things could be, but I feel like you are one of the rare people in the world that really embraces this kind of work, because you know somebody needs to do it and it feels comfortable to you. Okay? So I feel like it's like you yourself are almost like an initiator, right? I feel like you are somebody who brings comfort because, yeah, let's face it, Libra people you're so balanced. And whenever I think of a Libra, I always am like, okay, this is like a psychologist. This is like a social worker. This is like somebody who goes into like recovery work, you know, working at rehabs or counseling, or a mediator, a diplomat. Right? And so it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that you would be the one. You know, you're the one that, and if you have had people pass, I feel like you're also very proactive here. You're like the one that's coming in, you know how to make the arrangements, you know, you're thinking of all the little details and stuff, and you're able to get through that process. Where some people, you know, just absolutely shut down, you know. And so I feel like this is something akin to your calling, right? And I don't want to saddle you with that, but you know what? I myself have the same abilities, I guess. You know, I've been around a lot of loss. I have lost a lot of people. And you know, although I do not welcome that into my life, it is something that I've been dealing with since I was a kid, right? My parents passed away when I was a kid. And so I've always kind of thought about like going into being like a death doula, right? And this is somebody, if you know what a doula is, usually we think of somebody who's a doula for birth, right? Somebody who comes in and is a support and, you know, assists with the, support of the mother and the family, but also, you know, with the midwife and or doctors or whatever, however you end up going through that process. But this can also apply to people who are at the end of life, right? And so I understand this place. And when you meet somebody who has the same ability, right, to navigate these kind of murky borderlands is what I call them, you know immediately. All of my closest people in my life, aside from maybe my daughter, walk in this place, right? And we just kind of know each other, like, you just know. And so I recognize this energy that you're putting out here. Okay, so I want to look right here. What does this say? This is, I don't think it spells anything, but it looks like it's AOTO. AOTO, if that means anything to you. Now, we also have this giant triangle or pyramid. Missing the capstone, by the way. And sleeping. It also kind of reminds me of a volcano. A sleeping volcano. So things feel like they're in a pretty stable place, but you never know, like, when it's gonna go, right? And I wonder, okay, here we go. We have a face right here. So, yeah, look at this. So we have a face here where the eyes are sleeping and the nose, and it looks all peaceful. Then we turn it this way. It looks like it's kind of waking up. Here are the eyes and the nose and the little smile. But we also have over here a side profile. It looks almost kind of like the face on the moon, right? Here's the mouth, here's the nose, here's the eye. And we also have the rabbit on the top part here, the head of a rabbit. Here's the eye. Here would be the kind of nose and stuff, and going up into where the ear would be here. And so we have the rabbit moon, right? We have the moon and the rabbit. So we have the trickster, and we have the bringer of dreams, of illusion, of creativity. And so I feel like this really is a symbol of taming those emotions that rise up. You know, we all have them, especially, you know, if you're getting busy, if you have been going through some difficulties or, you know, emotional things, anniversaries coming up, or, you know, whatever it is. I feel like you've really been working on staying centered, staying grounded, even when things that usually would set you off or make you feel, you know, maybe a little annoyed or paranoid or angry, or, you know, even just like passive aggressive or flippant or whatever. I see you really stopping yourself, bringing yourself into that point in the center of your being, you know, and really collecting yourself, allowing yourself to just kind of breathe it out, let it go, have that soft smile, that serenity on your face. And I feel like this really has opened up a door, like a portal, a stargate, to your creativity. I feel like you're feeling more confident. You're having more inspiration. You have these ideas that are popping up. You just feel like you're in your zone, in your element. And so I really do feel like this is going to be a cycle of time where you are creating something that maybe you never thought you would be able to create, right? Whatever your medium is, if this is literally like you're painting or you're doing stained glass, or maybe you're somebody who works with wood or whatever. But this could also be like you're creating the life that you want. This could be like you're creating a business, you're creating resources, whatever it is, right? You are in a creative mode. So do not let that pass you by, okay? Make sure that you are putting it to work, Now, if we turn this, where we had the rabbit, it looks like a Sour Patch Kid. Go look that up if you don't know what it is. It's kind of candy, but it really does. It looks like, here's the face, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and kind of this Gumby-like body here. We also have a person standing here. We have a person standing here. Let me see. Okay, yes. And so also holding, it looks like a bird or a bat or something. You can see the head of the person. You can see their clothing. And then they're holding some kind of food, right? Something they're going to prepare. Now, we also have what looks like a baby crawling, and we have a person over here that is arriving back home, it seems like, okay? Kind of, if we pull it out, it almost looks like they're kind of running, and over here, this made me think of the mirror, like mirror on the wall, that kind of thing. So, also the number 12. 1, 2, right there, 12. So I feel like there is this, maybe even you're in it, maybe you're in the years of your life where you're raising a family, you know, you're making dinner, you're raising a family, your significant other, your roommate, your other kids, whoever, coming home. And I imagine there's a sense of, well, a lot of like reflection on your life, and that's what the mirror's about. Or here's the other thing. Maybe this is a life that you always wanted and it never came to be, and it's kind of a place that you go back to in your mind and you think, you know, I missed out, or I wish I could have, or, you know, and you get stuck in this cycle of thinking. Or maybe this is you reminiscing, you know, about how things used to be when you were raising the kids and they were still crawling across the carpet and, you know, coming into the kitchen and pulling stuff out of the drawers while you were cooking and, you know, all of that. When we're in it, it's so overwhelming at times, right? It's just a lot. And it's, you know, one day into the next, busy. And you get into, you know, them growing up and things change and they don't need you as much, or, you know, they're going off to school, or they've moved out, they have their own family. Now they have kids, you have grandkids, you know, whatever it is. And you think back, those were like some of the best years of my life when I was saying, oh, I can't do this anymore. I haven't slept enough. I have too many things pulling me each way. I don't have enough hours in the day. And now you look back and you think, wow, those really were some of the best years of my life. You know, and so I do feel like there is a sense of maybe a touch of melancholy, but there's also a sense of just gratitude, you know? And even if this is a thing where you lament maybe not being able to have children or have a family in the way that you had wanted it to happen, or, you know, maybe it just was something that never worked out in the time, you know, that you had imagined, or you never met the right person, or whatever it was. And, you know, I think that we all grieve things that never happened, right? We all think about, like, well, for me, I think, well, what if I would have, you know, stayed in school when I dropped out of college, you know? Or what if I never left California, or, you know, whatever. But kind of like a time suck. Now, I'm all about playing out the scenario, active imagination, daydreaming, you know, all these things. I think it's really important, and these are great tools that we have. Not a lot of people use them, it seems like, but we have such capacity to, create, to fantasize, to indulge in these trains of thought. But it can also become a prison, right? We can ruminate, obsess, fixate. And so I feel like it's important that you stay in that balance and be aware, right? You be aware of where this could take you. And don't, waste your time feeling bad. And that's really the thing, is that I feel like so often we end up hurting our own feelings, right? And if you're like me, or, you have maybe something similar, sometimes feeling bad feels like home. And it's, I think a lot of it has to do with just the way that my life was when I was a kid. It was, traumatic. It was hard. There was always something happening, and it was not usually a good thing. And it was always about just getting through one ordeal after another, hoping that everybody would, be okay and this and that. And so as you grow up and your life is different, hopefully, we still act out these old ways of living, these old conditioning, our reactions, our coping mechanisms, and so on. And so we have to be intentional about, when, this is my problem, when things are really just good or fine or whatever, it's like there's some itch in my brain that's saying, something's wrong. Something's wrong here. It shouldn't be like this. Something's going to happen. Maybe somebody's mad and they're pretending they're not. Maybe, everything's going to fall apart, and, I'll have no ability to stop it or fix it, or, whatever. And it's like you can't just be in the moment and be happy or be at ease. You got to find some reason. Something might be wrong somewhere. And if it's not right now, it might be in a few minutes, So I feel like, sometimes we end up choosing to hurt our own feelings or make ourselves upset because that's what we know. So let's be mindful of that. Now, we have, it looks like a being right here and one right here, standing right next to, both looking up at the sky. Okay, this person looks like they're in meditation. This person reminds me of the coyote, right? The trickster. And we have the number 12 again. 1, 2. I feel like you are on the cusp of this adventure, right? This thing is getting going. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you are having some kind of interaction, revelation, experience, like something coming to you in your dreams or visions or, whatever it is. I feel like that coyote, that spirit guide, is beginning to show itself to you. Okay? And I think through that work, there's going to be more of an understanding of what the future is going to look like, or at least what you want it to look like, realistically, right? And that's the work I think that will be done with this spirit guide. Okay. I keep looking at this. I want to know what it says. To me, it looks like it says man or main. M-A-I-N or M-A-N. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to do 3 lucky numbers real quick here. I gotta finish cooking dinner. We have people coming over to eat. My husband's getting my daughter ready, and I'm just finishing up here. All right. Number 32. Number 32. Number 75. 75. 32, 75, and 11. Nice. Okay, and the last thing that we're going to do is our self-care affirmation cards. And I'm going to flip through and I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says, self-celebration. I am amazing. Say it with me. I am amazing. Yes, you are. I rejoice in my successes, big and small. I am proud of the person I am becoming. I celebrate myself today. I celebrate myself today, as you should. Now do something special for yourself, whatever that is. Take a nice little walk, get a little treat. I don't know, finish paying the bills. Oh, that sounds amazing. No, I'm joking. Although it does feel good if you can cover the bills and you get them paid and you're like, okay, I got like hopefully 30 more days. I'm just happy to get them done, right? I'm happy that I'm able to. And that sometimes is the biggest blessing ever, right? Just that feeling of like, I'm going to be all right for a minute. I don't know about next month, but right now I'm cool. All right, Libra, I love you and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is truly my honor to be able to bring these messages to you. Now, if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. And I just want to thank you again. We'll talk in a few days. Take care of yourself. Good night.